to Face the Facts, a fitness show. I'm your host, Natalie. We're so glad that you were able to join us today. We have some interesting facts for you to learn about, so get ready. Have you been in the gym, because I know I have, and seen anything like this? I've always wondered, what kind of stuff can I do, like exercises can I do with this? It looks like a cowbell, but it's actually called a kettlebell. So later in the show, our fitness expert, Mark Anderson, will give us all kind of tips and exercises to do with this. I have the lighter one, you have a heavy one over there. But before we tackle the kettlebell, we're gonna tackle some of the questions that our viewers have emailed us. And keep in mind, you can email us as well, any questions that you have on fitness or exercise, and we'll tackle them on the show. But I have 3 really good questions to ask Mark today. So you ready for these questions?
I'm ready.
All right, let's get with it. Okay, well, before we start that, let's get a little background on you. You are a fitness trainer, like you professional.
Correct.
You run your own gym. You have people underneath you that work for you. You know what you're doing.
I know.
So we have a pro here, guys. We work with a pro. Okay, so one person asked, should I lift fast or should I lift slow? So I guess they're just asking, like, when you have a kettlebell, should they go quickly with it or should they really go slow? And give us a difference between the two. What do the two do?
The reason that you'd lift heavy or slow, which is what happens if I give you a heavier weight, you're going to try to go slower with it. If I give you a lighter weight, you're going to go faster with it. So we as trainers use repetitions and weights to control rep speed, because that's what it's really all about.
Okay.
A lot of it's pertaining to your goals. If you want to get stronger, then you're going to lift heavier and slower. If you're working more towards endurance or maybe trying to get that summertime trim on, then you're going to go faster with a lighter weight.
Okay. So let's say not even weights. Let's even squash the weights. What if I'm just doing crunches or lunges? Should we go fast with that or?
Your muscles are designed for speed. They're designed to move fast. So doing things with body weight exercises, it's a kind of a double-edged sword, because you want to go as fast as you can, but you also want to maintain control of the exercise and not get sloppy with your form.
So the faster you go, does that help with resistance or endurance?
It helps with endurance. It gets a little cardio in there. But you can also find out if you do a heavy set with loaded bar, that'll wind you too.
Oh, no kidding. I've done that before.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say I'm doing push-ups. The slower I'm going with my push-ups, what's the difference between me going slow with my push-ups and me going faster? Is that doing anything different with my muscles?
It is, but you wouldn't really want to go slow with push-ups.
Really?
You would want to move at a pretty good clip and make sure that your form is solid, because it is body weight exercise.
I have always thought you're supposed to go slow because your muscles are tightening up and it's helping your core.
Well, you don't want to flop and drop where you just hit the floor, but you want to go, like I say, as quickly as you can and still have control.
Okay, so what should our pace be? Should it be like a 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi?
A real good rule is think stretch, squeeze. So stretch, squeeze, stretch, squeeze. So you can use those 2 words to keep your pace about right.
Oh, good. Even with lifting weights, can I do the same thing with stretch?
Even with
Stretch.
lifting weights.
Okay.
Another one, if you're doing barbell curls,
Right.
you can say blood out, because the blood's flowing into the muscle, and then you can think blood out when you push it up and squeeze the blood out. So in and out, stretch and squeeze, because that's all you're doing. That's what the pump is. When you get that pump in the gym, it's just blood running into that body part.
So it really all depends on what you're achieving, what you're trying to achieve.
What you're trying to do.
Okay.
A real good rule is to pick, if you're doing 3 exercises, pick one of them and do it a little bit slower and heavier to get strength, and then do the other 2 for cardiovascular endurance and conditioning.
Okay, so with that said, if I'm trying to build my endurance and I'm just doing stuff really, really quick, should I just do 2 reps or should I do more than, should I do 5 reps? Like, let's say I'm trying to do high knees and I'm just doing maybe a set of 10 on each leg. How many?
On something like that, I think 10 would be a relatively low number.
Okay.
A real good way, we get caught up in how many we do. On something like a high knee, I would get a clock or watch the clock and say, okay, I'm going to do high knees for 60 seconds. And 60 seconds is a real long time to do high knees.
No kidding.
You'll find out. Let me try 30 next time.
Yeah, I think I'll stick with 30 seconds to start off with. Okay, cool. Okay, well that was good. Let's go on to the next question we received. Question number 2, high carbs or low carbs? So carbohydrates, is it better to have a low carb diet or a high carb diet, or does it depend on what your goal is?
It depends on what your goal is and what you're doing.
Okay.
If you're running 6 miles a day training for a marathon, then your carbs need to be higher. If you're sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day and working out for an hour, you don't need that many carbs. The biggest problem with carbs is people pick the wrong ones, and they don't associate it with what they're doing.
Gotcha.
So
Okay, so somebody who's always running, who's kind of slim and wants to gain a little weight, maybe they want to get a little curvy and they want to get in the gym and kind of bulk up a little bit, what kind of carbs would you suggest have high carbs that are good?
Any of your oatmeal, your sweet potatoes, you could even shove a white potato in there, brown rice, most pastas are good. Pasta, a lot of times people think is bad for you. It's not the pasta. It's all the stuff you put on it.
Oh.
The sauces and the creams. And, pasta is good. Pasta with cream sauce, not so much.
Gotcha. So how do you flavor a pasta without putting the cream sauce on it? Like, do you put like...
You go down the spice aisle at Walmart or Target, and there's tons of no sodium, no calorie spices, a whole rack of them.
Okay.
That's an easy one.
Okay. So with someone who sits at their desk all day, you say stay away from the rice and the pasta and the bread.
At least don't eat it all day. Maybe your meal right before you're going to the gym, you eat some so you have the energy. But yeah, I wouldn't sit around eating them all day.
So carbs are good to eat before you go into the gym because it gives you a lot of energy.
There's no such thing as a bad carb.
Okay.
Outside of cakes and candy.
Those are good though.
Yeah, they're good.
Those are good carbs.
Those are good carbs.
Those are tasty.
Just depends on how you say it.
Yeah. They're tasty carbs, but not good if for weight loss. Right. Not good for it. Okay, so if I have a plate, a round plate, what should my plate look like proportion-wise if I'm trying to have a good balanced diet?
A good balance?
Yes.
Well, you want a piece of meat or protein, pork, chicken, sirloin, whatever it is, about the size of your fist.
Well, your fist is bigger than mine.
Well, I'm bigger than you.
Okay, there we go. That makes sense.
And then the rest of it you could divide between, say, like a broccoli for like a vegetable with fiber and everything, and the other part would be your brown rice or your sweet potato, red skin potatoes, and anything like that.
Okay, so pretty much I can have like a half of my plate be vegetables, 1/4 a meat, and the other 1/4 be a carb?
You absolutely can.
Okay.
Now, everything is for each individual. Say a guy or a girl trying to gain more muscle, doing a lot more weight training, they may go with half a plate or 2 fists of protein and keep the other down. So like I say, it really depends on your activity level. If you're going to try to design a diet, the first thing you need to do is have an honest evaluation of what you do on a daily basis.
And also, I was told, I was actually talking about this earlier today with some people that I know, the more you eat, the better. Is that a whole nother story?
Welcome to the 1980s. Let's eat one small meal and lose weight.
Right.
You don't want to do that. What I think the point behind that conversation was eating more small meals, because you have to think of your body like a freight train, and you shovel in a little bit of coal at the time, and you keep that steady pace going.
Okay, so when you say small meals, like a handful of peanuts, or some fruit.
Eat 3 regular meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Okay.
And then insert 2 snacks where you need them.
Oh, okay.
Usually that's between breakfast and lunch. And then when we all get tired at 2 or 3 in the afternoon,
yes,
depending on what your diet is, throw back, eat an apple or grab one of those bags of almonds, or both, depending on how much you need to eat.
Okay, so almost eat maybe every 3 or 4 hours, kind of, sort of? Yep. I have to set a timer so I can remember. But the more you eat, the more your metabolism is working?
Keeps that metabolism rolling.
Cool, good to know. Okay, that's a good answer. And the last topic for today is high intensity or low intensity. And I believe they're speaking of when it comes to exercises, do they go really hard or is lower better?
Right. And I keep saying it, but it is goal-oriented. Everything is what we're trying to accomplish. The best exercise plan for general fitness is the one that allows you to do everything you want to do without killing yourself. You want to walk your dog, run in the park, whatever. So I think both are good. There is no bad exercise. We have a toolbox full of tools, and you know, a lot of people, let's say you hate walking on a treadmill. So you go and you do your back and chest workout, and you're supposed to do 30 minutes of cardio. Well, instead of doing 30 minutes of cardio, you do body weight squats, push-ups, and sit-ups, 10 each, as many rounds as you can in 10 minutes. So that will make you breathe hard, it gets your cardio up, you'll sweat, but you didn't have to get on a treadmill.
Understandable. So it's just about the same.
It depends on what you want to do.
Okay. So what would you consider low intensity other than a treadmill?
Anything that's low intensity is something where you could hold a casual conversation with somebody standing next to you. So if you're out here and you do a set of barbell curls and you set it down and you're like, all right, I'm taking my 1.5-minute break before I do my next set, that's low intensity. High intensity is where you have either a set amount of work or a set amount of time, and you try to get it done as fast as you can.
Okay, so would you consider circuit training?
Circuit training is definitely high intensity.
So for those who don't know what circuit training is, can you explain what that is?
Circuit training, and another term we probably all heard in elementary school, is round robin. And basically you have more than 2 or 3 exercises set up somewhere, and you do one for a minute or a set number of reps, and then you go to the next one, and then you move to the next one, and you just keep going either until you can't or until you reach the time goal or the rep goal.
So how would somebody know, all right, I'm probably pushing my body too much, or I can probably go a little further? Because a lot of people are like, you know what, I quit, this is starting to burn a little bit. How do they know, okay, no, seriously, you can do 2 more reps or whatever?
That is a lot of personal. It's a lot of personal. If you're an MMA fighter training to have an MMA fight, you better push it. You got to push it to past every time. You know, you start seeing spots, you don't feel good, you got to keep going. If you're just in here for general fitness, then maybe not so much.
If you're seeing spots, you probably need to sit down.
You might want to stop for a second.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, it is largely personal, and you know, everybody has different goals, but we get better every time. If you're pushing, the next time you'll be able to push farther.
So question, when you have when you're training some of the people that you train, and somebody's kind of being a little lazy, how do you push them to go to the next level?
Well, I have 3 different phases.
Okay.
The first phase, when I just start working with somebody, I teach them how to do it correctly, but they're like, okay, I can't do it anymore. I'm like, okay, that's fine. The second phase is when they say, well, I don't think I can do it anymore. I'm like, well, can I get 2 more?
2 more.
And they'll get 2 more, and then they'll get hungry. The third phase is really a great place to be, and it takes a while to get there, but so I'm like, all right, Natalie, I need you to do 2 more, and you look at me and say, I'm doing 3. So it's like you take control. So that's what we do. We try to teach you not only how to lift weights, but give you that mental mindset to be your best.
And being a trainer, and you have somebody you're training that says, I'm gonna do 3 more, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel good.
Like you're actually doing your job and you're pushing them.
Because then we go to 4.
Yeah. I don't know about you, because I'm good at my 2, and I may say 3, and you push me to 4. Now I don't know, but but that's awesome. Good to know. Okay, so real quick, what is the significance with this? I mean, what's the difference between this and a dumbbell or a barbell? What is this?
Dumbbells and barbells and most of your equipment in the gym is designed to distribute weight evenly. Have you ever picked up a dumbbell that was bigger on one side than the other?
No, never.
Have you ever bench pressed and put 45 on one side and a 25 on the other?
Never.
You wouldn't do that.
No.
This is designed to be awkward.
Oh.
So by using this, you know when people talk about doing dumbbell work to activate stabilizer muscles or the helper muscles?
Yes.
Well, that's twice as bad with this, because you're gonna be awkward with it. It's gonna be wanting to wave around and flip over, and you have to control it.
It is weird because you have a handle, and I don't really know how to hold it except to do stuff like this. So you're going to show us different exercises, what to do.
A whole bunch of things.
Ooh, and this one's heavy. Okay. Okay, well, when we come back, Mark is going to show us all kind of exercises to do with this kettlebell. We'll be right back after this. We have the lovely, beautiful Carmen here with us, who is also very sore. She's been working out, so her body is already a little in pain, but she's going to do her best for us today, right? Awesome. Okay, so Mark, go ahead and get us started. Show us some full body exercises from head to toe that we can do with the kettlebell?
All right, well, the first thing we're gonna do is just a standard kettlebell swing. Kettle like tea kettle, by the way.
Tea kettle, I like that.
So what Carmen's gonna do is she's gonna walk up to it just like she was gonna do a deadlift. And she's gonna pick it up with both hands, bring it up, set her forearms right on her thighs, stand up a little tall, and then you use your hips to thrust the kettlebell up to about eyeball level, and then repeat.
Wow.
Now I'm gonna have her turn this way.
Yes, turn to the side so we can get a
and
good
do a
angle.
couple more reps, because the key thing here and what's critical is see how her back is nice and flat.
Yes.
The most important thing is that right there, because you don't want that kettlebell to pull you over around your back.
You don't want to be bent over,
That's how
hunched
we get-
over.
That's how we get injured.
Yes.
Now she's gonna go ahead and switch up mid-swing here and take it all the way above her head. And all we did there is we changed the range of motion that gets more abs or core activation.
Okay.
And that's called the Russian kettlebell swing.
Okay, so it's also working her shoulders and her back, looks like, the more she goes up with it.
Either way is working your chest, shoulders, and all that. But when you go up above your head, it gets more of your core involved, because you have to stop it, hold it, and then start back down.
Stay more stabilized as well.
Now the thing with the kettlebell is anything you can do with two hands, sometimes you can do it with one as well.
Whew.
So she's now going to execute a one-arm regular kettlebell swing.
Okay.
Now these are going to feel weird right out the gate, because now you don't have both hands working for you.
Right.
And you can also do that Russian style and take it on up above your head.
Whew. And that's kind of difficult because the bell kind of rocks back and forth.
You notice it's trying to roll
Yeah,
over.
it's trying to roll over.
So
Can you do it with your other arm so that
Oh,
we can
sure.
get a, yeah, awesome.
So you have a lot of things you have to control here.
And what should she be doing with the arm that's not doing anything? Should she tuck it back like how she has right now?
You can tuck it behind, you can hold your hip, you can do whatever. The more you tuck it behind or keep it out, the more it is on your core and that other side. If you have it here, you're supporting yourself a little bit. So that might be a good place for people to
For
start.
people who are starting, may be good to hold yourself a little bit
Absolutely.
while you're holding it. Great. Thank you.
All right, so that's your basic kettlebell swing and your basic Russian kettlebell swing. The other things you can do are, and you're gonna wanna have, it's nice to have a few different weights of these things, but you know how she set up on the kettlebell a second ago? If she sets back up on that exactly like that, and just comes up into the start position and stands up and straightens her legs out, so you grab it and you come up with it. Now we're doing a kettlebell deadlift.
Which works what muscles? What does a deadlift work?
Well, a deadlift works everything from the back of your ankles to the back of your neck.
Get out of here.
It's literally the most basic motion a human body can make. Pick something up, put it down.
I never knew that. So from your ankles all the way to the back of your neck, a deadlift is working.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Now,
Let's see it from the side. Perfect form.
again with the nice flat back.
Yes. Perfect form. Awesome. Good job, Carmen.
Now again, anything we do with one, we can kind of change it. We can set up and we can do one in each hand, and that will allow us to have a little bit different feel, because now we're outside. And a kettlebell deadlift and a kettlebell squat kind of look the same, but you're kind of doing different things, because on a deadlift, you stand up at the top and get your shoulders back. On the squat, you're just squatting down and coming up and working your legs.
Okay, let's see it.
Yep.
So is it more difficult to try to maintain?
It's a little, because now you have two things instead of one.
Yes.
Now watch this. The good thing about kettlebells is you can roll right out of one thing into another. So what I'm going to have her do is do a kettlebell squat 1 or 2 times, and then she'll be done with that. And she's just going to go right into kettlebell curls.
Gotcha. So it's almost like having a leg workout and then turning it into an arm exercise.
Well, if you want to do low intensity, you can do one and the other. If you want to do high intensity, you can do a kettlebell squat, curls. Kettlebell squat, curls.
Kettlebell
really
squat,
stack them up.
curls.
Curl. And then squat and curl. And you can just keep doing that.
And that's the high intensity when you're doing it that way.
Yep.
And how many reps would you recommend?
Well, if you're going to do a lightweight like this, You can either do it for time again, or you hit the 15 to 20.
All right, I want to see you do it with the heavy ones. Let's see what you got.
You want to see me do it?
Yes, you can. Let's give her a break.
Okay.
Because how much is that? Because that looks heavy.
That's 35.
Whew.
35 is not heavy.
For a lady, maybe.
My girl used 35.
Well,
Yes.
okay, maybe.
So I'm using a girl weight. This is what I brought.
Wow.
Normally it's 50 for him.
Really? Oh, wow.
So same thing. You just set up on it, and you always want to have that good posture. You got your regular kettlebell swing, your Russian kettlebell swing, and you want to stop it and get that core activation. You can one-hand it, just like that. It's going to try to go over on me.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to show you these, but I would recommend anybody who's going to try these, if you don't know what you're doing, get some help.
Yes.
Get somebody to show you.
Because I noticed just now that you keep it stabilized and keep the ball part up.
Grip.
You don't let it fall forward or backwards.
Grip is critical.
You have to be able to grip it very well. I noticed that. Okay.
Because there's a lot of magazines and things like that, and they'll show you pictures, but if you don't have somebody there coaching you through some of these things, it's real easy to look right and be doing it wrong. So two of my favorites are the kettlebell clean and jerk, which is an Olympic move, but we're going to use a kettlebell instead of the barbell.
Okay.
And all you do is you're going to use one hand, and you're going to power clean it up right behind you here. So see, now I've set it here, and I'm resting on my shoulder, and I'm braced underneath it. The jerk is nothing more than a press. So all I'm going to do is just press it up and come down, and then return. And you can either do all on one side, or you can switch over and hit the other side.
Okay, so I want to make sure I want to make sure we are lifting it correctly at home. You don't want to just slowly and pull and do all that.
Right.
Can you slowly show us how you are lifting it?
So what I'm doing is I'm coming up. As I come up, I start turning it, rotate it behind, and then just park it on my shoulder.
Gotcha. And can we turn and see how it looks on your shoulder?
Yeah, absolutely.
The side. So it's resting more towards the center of your shoulder.
The most common thing people find out is they get a bruise on their forearm the first time they do it.
Okay, cool.
There's a lot of fancy names for the next one. The simplest, most effective way to tell people how to do it is ground to overhead. All you're doing is taking it and just going straight up. Now all we did is cut out that middle part.
We didn't rest it on our shoulders.
We didn't stop. We just went straight to the top. And what you have to do is you have to fire out of the bottom more and obviously keep that core engaged.
Gotcha.
And while you're up here, you can do some tricep extensions. If you have a kettlebell that's too heavy, you can always grab it and do two hands.
Okay, so can we see that from the back?
Absolutely.
How that looks?
Just looks like that right there. That's the two-hand version.
Now, how do we know not to go really like where to stop? Because I've oftentimes seen people back. Should we take
Right there.
So my elbow's bending all the way. So I'm coming all the way down.
Well, you have good flexibility and good mobility.
Okay. So someone who's not as flexible as I am, how far, where do they stop? Just when it starts to pinch?
There's two kinds of range of motion. Target range of motion and full range of motion. A shoulder will do like this, but that's not an exercise. So your target range of motion, what were those two words we talked about to control speed? Stretch and squeeze. Feel the stretch, feel the squeeze. Feel the stretch, feel the squeeze.
So you need to feel that stretch, that muscle pulling a little bit, and then bring it back on up.
Right.
Cool.
Usually people shorten the range of motion because they're using too much weight.
Okay. Well, how do you know when it's too much, like when it's too heavy? When you're falling over?
When you're falling over.
Okay. You need to lighten it up when it's too heavy. Gotcha. Okay, what else we got?
Any overhead motion, you want to be really careful with it.
Okay.
Kettlebells are not, there's something a beginner can do with coaching, but I wouldn't start there with someone.
Okay.
They need, because they need to get that base.
Okay.
Now, if someone just hasn't done them before, but I could teach you how to do kettlebells, you're in shape. So that'd be no problem. Sometimes you just have to show them how, but I wouldn't go out and buy some kettlebells at Walmart and that's the first workout I'm gonna do in 6 years.
Gotcha. So someone who's more experienced with working out will be more interested in the kettlebell. But a beginner should probably focus more on like dumbbells, you would say?
Dumbbells, barbells, even body weight stuff. When you come in and you're first starting, it's always a good idea to get with a trainer because we will evaluate you and we'll give you a starting point.
Okay.
So, you know, I don't work on my own car. I don't fix my computer. And so if I'm looking for a professional, I'm going to go find somebody who's a fitness pro.
Gotcha. Have you cooled down enough?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's do another. Let's get it, put it to work.
So not only are kettlebells great when they're moving, kettlebells are great when they're sitting on the ground as well. So we've talked about push-ups in the past. So how can we make push-ups harder with kettlebells? Well, we can set them.
I'm not that broad, so I'm going to
You
a little bit.
You know,
Okay. Don't have them too wide out. So that's a good question. Should they be out wide or within your shoulder range?
shoulder width and a touch more.
Okay.
So now she's doing push-ups, and what she's able to do is go farther down.
Wow. So is it challenging for you to stay stay stable?
Yes, you have. It's also a lot of core ability that's happening as well. As I'm going down, my core is tightening, hard. So that's your center of gravity. That's your balance.
Gotcha. So working triceps and chest muscles doing that?
Well, because those kettlebells are going to try to tip over, whether
Yes.
you're using the big ones or little ones, so you have to control them.
Yes.
Now, another thing we can do is we can do that push-up, and it's called a man maker, I guess because it makes men out of people. But you do your push-up, and then you take one of your kettlebells and you pull it up like a row.
Whew.
So now we're going to throw in some balance and even more core.
Okay, I see her body's flat as a board. Her behind isn't sticking up out. That's a tough one.
It's tough. It's not an easy
Ooh,
thing to do.
yes. Yeah. Wow.
Now, if you don't want to try picking it up and you still want to make it harder, you can do a push-up and pick your leg up.
Oh, wow.
But
Can you do that?
But make sure.
Let's see it.
But
Let's see it done.
Make sure whichever one you do, if you're gonna pick up your left leg, you know, maybe do 5 or 6 over here.
Wow.
And then you're gonna do the other one. You can do that. Keep that in there. You know, there's so many different ways you can
Yes.
do it. Well, you know what a burpee is, right?
Yes, I know what burpees
Everybody
are.
knows what a burpee is. So now we can take the jump out of the burpee and do kettlebell burpee.
Oh, that's a good it's stability, endurance. It
That's
gets your
a
heart rate
special
up.
kind of fun.
Yes. I can probably do maybe 4 of those and then, whew, that's good. Okay, cool. Well, can you show us one more, maybe with an ab workout that we could do with the kettlebell?
Absolutely. Here's a great one that just incorporates just about everything that we said. It's called a Spider-Man push-up.
Okay.
And it's going to work the abs, the obliques, and all this side area here.
Okay.
And all you have to do is you do your push-up, knee to elbow.
Oh,
Do
okay.
your push-up, knee to elbow. Just like
Those
that.
are tough.
Those are tough. That's something that I would have to practice at home. But in the meantime, I want to thank you, Carmen, and you, Mark, for joining us today to teach us all about the kettlebells. We had a good workout. I think the more we work on this, the better I'll get at it.